Hey everybody, Rob Maurer here. Thanks for your patience again with the later start here. The busy week carries on. We've got a lot to discuss with Tesla as well. Starting off with Elon Musk selling stock yesterday, of course, we'll talk about that. The episode coming out right as we got the Form 4, of course. So I'll share some of my thoughts on that, and then we do have quite a few other Tesla items from today to discuss as well. So we'll start off with the stock. Tesla faring a little bit better than earlier this week. No surprise now with Elon selling, but the stock finishing up 0.5% today, closing at $157.67, while the Nasdaq was down significantly, 3.2%. So huge outperformance from Tesla, likely a reaction to the market viewing Elon as maybe being done selling. Of course, whoever really knows on that. You know, I shared my opinion on that. As I said, low conviction opinion, which a lot of people seem to forget, but that I didn't think he was obviously wrong on that one. So here to face my shame. But anyway, another high volume day for Tesla today as well. 120 million shares traded. But of course, with this outperformance, certainly would make it surprising if there were more selling continuing after we got the Form 4 from Elon. But, you know, obviously I have not been great at calling that. So we will see. Anyway, here's that Form 4. Elon Musk selling about 22 million shares of Tesla for about $3.6 billion. This was happening on Monday through Wednesday. So I think we probably saw him end on Wednesday morning, which we had talked about, where we'd seen that sell off early in the morning and then it started to seem to rebound before the FOMC meeting kind of got in the way of all of that progress, but that seems to continue today. So my feelings, thoughts on this, you know, I don't think I really care as much as people care. I know people have had pretty strong reactions to this, but you know, we know why Elon is selling. It's for Twitter. That's nothing new. It's not surprising. I'm not invested in Tesla because, you know, of Elon's investment. I'm invested because of what I think the business is and can become. Elon is still a huge shareholder and is going to be for a long time. So him slightly lowering his stake right now, and we know the reason for it, you know, I just don't feel super strongly about it. So I know other people have different feelings, but that's kind of mine. Maybe I'm just numb to it, but that's my honest opinion at this point in time. Anyway, with the 3.6 billion, Bloomberg here kind of speculating, as we had heard earlier this week, that Elon was considering margin to maybe assist with some of Twitter's debt. This 3.6 billion is pretty close to an amount of high interest debt that Twitter has. So seems to be connected. Bloomberg drawing that connection and wondering if that is what that's going to be used for, and seems like the most likely purpose at this point in time. Not that I think Elon, you know, there's a mixed view on things that Elon is doing right now in terms of his comments on Tesla and things like that. But for what it is worth, he did like this tweet from Eva McMillan today, basically just saying, you know, everyone should stop lashing out at each other, take a deep breath, focus on the future of Tesla. Definitely agree with that. The end here, Tesla will reach all-time high again. So, you know, for what it's worth, Elon did like that tweet. So pointing that out as well. Anyway, getting into today's news, we do have an update here from Mexico News Daily, and interesting report. So, you know, I don't know the level of credibility of this, file it in the rumor category for now, but they are reporting that Tesla is set to announce a Nuevo Leon factory in January 2023, and in Mexico, of course. And they say that this is from some documents that were reviewed by the original reporter, Millennium. And from those documents, they said that Tesla will arrive in Santa Catarina. The investment will be finalized in the coming weeks and announced after year end. So could see maybe an announcement of something here in January. You know, who knows? We've had some different reports on different factory locations that haven't seemed to come to fruition, at least quite yet. It wouldn't surprise me if there are little grains of truth in all of those, though. I would imagine that Tesla is plotting and planning different locations. So, you know, this tends to be, little reports like this tend to be how we see these things materialize. I think back to Giga Texas when we'd had reports of, you know, Tesla purchasing land or looking to purchase land in Oklahoma, in Texas, and then it came out that those were kind of competing bids, and eventually, obviously, we know what happened with that, but just kind of reminded me of that. You know, again, very much in the rumor category, but they do say that this plant would, according to this report, assemble cargo trucks. You know, maybe that's semi, maybe that's Cybertruck, maybe that's the van that we had heard on that alleged product plan from Auto Forecast Solutions that we've talked about a few times. Who knows? But that is the report that we've got here. It's kind of interesting too, because as we had previously talked about, Tesla does have a dedicated lane at the border, which that's pretty recent and kind of adds some credibility into this report, I think. With that dedicated lane, of course, there are a number of suppliers down there in this location that Tesla uses, but at the same time, maybe that's a good reason to co-locate. So we have seen Tesla, not that this is the only reason for that, but with Giga Shanghai, that's very much co-located, near CATL and things like that. So could be a possible reason for, one of, I'm sure, many for that location. And then finally on this report, they say that it's their understanding that the land has been bought, of course, under NDA. So we'll see on this. Again, I don't have any idea of the credibility, but wanted to pass that along. And I definitely think it's interesting. It would be sort of a surprising choice to me, just because we know Tesla's got locations in Fremont, of course, and Texas, and this would be down in Mexico. So we'd have kind of a lot of concentration, and not that they're all that close together, but sort of down in that Southwest region. And probably would be, more of my first guess to think of something more East Coast or something over in Europe. So anyway, probably multiple threads that are developing at the same time, but we'll see what comes of that. On Tesla's current factories, we've got a huge update here on Giga Texas. Tesla has hit 3,000 Model Y builds per week, according to Tesla on Twitter today, which is super exciting. Of course, that would annualize out to about 150,000 per year if they maintain that rate consistently throughout the year, about 39,000 per quarter. So pretty exciting to see that. And the previous updates that we had from Tesla on Giga Texas, just to kind of give us some context here, they had announced 20,000 Model Ys life to date for the factory, built on October 30th. That was up from 10,000 on September 17th. So between those, you've got 43 days. It's about 1,600 per week. So by the end of this in October, Tesla was probably at a higher rate than they would have been at the start, obviously, maybe a couple of thousand. So that's kind of the progress that we're thinking about when we're looking at this 3,000 number, over the last couple of months. I guess even less than that. So exciting to see that progress. I think that's probably a little bit ahead of what Wall Street expectations are, maybe even, the Tesla community right now. So could put the number for Texas for Q4. We still have a couple weeks left here, maybe in that 30,000 type of ballpark, which is pretty close to what I've been forecasting. So exciting to see that that's tracking pretty close. Next, we've got a pretty exciting update here with Tesla Electric. So this is a new page that's been added to Tesla's website. It's a new project that they are starting in Texas with the hopes to expand beyond Texas. We've got a Drive Tesla Canada rumor here that says that they want to expand this to other parts of the United States and eventually globally. So what Tesla is doing here is they are acting as the retail electricity provider. So of course the utility is the one responsible for the infrastructure. Retail electricity provider would be basically making the marketplace, so buying and selling electricity from various different sources. In this case, the selling and I guess some of the buying would be happening with Tesla customers at a retail level. So anybody with a Powerwall, well, not anyone, it's invite only, but this power plan would be made for Tesla Powerwall owners. Of course, they have it tied into the app and everything like this. So Tesla will be acting as the retail electric provider, buying and selling electricity into these customers. So basically tying into solar systems, tying into Powerwall, and doing things that we've talked about with virtual power plants, with energy storage in general, shifting the power production to more high demand periods of time by storing that energy in the Powerwall, and then better utilizing it when it is more in demand, when prices are higher, and allowing the customer to take that benefit, or more likely share in that benefit with Tesla. So when you think about retail electricity providers, there's only so many different ways to compete in that market, and this would be one of the bigger ones in that area. So it's definitely exciting to see Tesla sort of launch this. Again, it's pretty likely pretty small scale right now, just in Texas, and I think they mentioned in here somewhere that it's invite only, but a lot of details that Tesla has shared on the website. For those that may be interested, I've had a couple people message me today and just show that they've already signed up. So pretty cool, and definitely cool to just see that it's all integrated in the Tesla app like we're used to at this point. So excited to see where that will head from here. Next, we've got an update from Wuwa on Tesla in Shanghai. So, he's sharing a video here of some vehicles being staged out of Giga Shanghai for export, presumably here, which is a little bit different than what obviously Tesla has done in the last month of the quarter. In previous quarters, we did have some reports that Tesla was not going to be exporting this month. We've had all sorts of reporting out of China for what's going to happen in December, of course. So, maybe strategies have shifted throughout the month and things like that, but it does sound like they're staging for export. That should probably increase expectations for the spread between deliveries and production that we'll end up seeing in Q4. So we'll monitor this and see, what we can see in terms of ships and things like that. Oftentimes that'll give us some insight into what's going on even before we do get those retail or export splits. But interesting to see that update. And then Wuwa did also share another comment here on just the production situation, asking, what is the real situation? One or two things can be seen from field observation. Of course, through inquiry, we know since Monday, the Shanghai factory has reduced production by about 30%, but the working hours of workers have not changed. So I'm a little bit confused by the comment and how those two things fit together. But he says, seen from the outside of the factory, it is still busy. At the port, there are trucks carrying Tesla, and the signs on the vehicles are EU, like we just talked about. From these circumstances, we can roughly judge that the current production reduction may be the supply of the Chinese market. Perhaps as everyone judges, the sales of the Chinese market tend to be weak. What do you think? So again, it's a little bit confusing in terms of how it reads here, and I think there's some translation stuff going on, but from part of the comment section, I was trying to kind of figure this out. There was a comment here asking, so the 30% production cut is real? Wuwa didn't reply to this one, but he did heart that comment, which I guess he doesn't like every single comment, a lot of them, but it seems to be indicating that yes, that is the case. So again, we've had a ton of conflicting reporting on this at this point. I don't want to continue to spend a ton of time on this every single day. I think at this point we just got to continue to watch things and continue to see how things come in. But wanted to at least pass that along. All right, as we move towards the end of the quarter here, we're getting a couple of more incentives. This is pretty typical behavior from Tesla in years past, where we'd approach the end of the quarter, especially at the end of Q4, where they'd start to offer some of these incentives for buyers to take delivery. It especially makes sense in the United States right now, where we've seen them add that $3,750 credit. Of course, that would help offset any additional credits that the EV credit potentially brings. We're still waiting for some more clear guidance on that, but a lot of buyers probably holding off on that. So Tesla now adding another incentive here in the US, 10,000 miles of free supercharging. Could be pretty significant, if you're at 300 miles per charge, and you're, at $30, that's like 40 cents a kilowatt hour, depending on your efficiency, ends up being about $1,000 worth of credits. And I think that they said that this is good for about 2 years. So it's a nice little perk for sure. And if Tesla is earning any margin on supercharging, more valuable to the customer than the cost to Tesla. So they're doing that here in the US, and then it looks like doing that in Europe as well. Although there, I think it is 10,000 kilometers. So sorry, people in Europe, you're getting a slightly not as good deal on that conversion. Tesla has also released the FSD Beta 10.69.3.3. I'm not sure how wide release this is. This is not a version number update, obviously. So I don't think there are major changes in here. I haven't had a chance to play around with it yet, but I know quite a few videos out on YouTube of testing, but not the version 11 that we're all, of course, waiting for, hopefully pretty soon. Last few things here. We've got an update from Consumer Reports, just passing this along. They have named Tesla and Nissan as the most reliable electric vehicles. They're saying that the Model 3 is their second most reliable to the Kia EV6, but that is a 2022 brand new vehicle, so who knows how that will fare over time. They do say that data from over 1,000 Tesla Model 3 owners tell us that every model year going back to 2018 has either average or better reliability. So love to hear that. For long-time listeners, that me and Jake Fisher, who wrote this article, we go way back and having some debates on how this reliability is scored and how maybe there should be some different scoring systems for electric vehicles and things like that. So we won't get into all that tonight, but just kind of a little bit of a flashback there for me when seeing this news today. I've got an update here on California. The California Energy Commission has approved a $2.9 billion investment in electric vehicle charging, and I'm not sure how the split will be, but probably a little bit, unfortunately, hydrogen refueling goals as well. So again, not sure how much that split is, but they do estimate that this funding should result in about 90,000 new EV chargers in California, which would be more than double the number of installed chargers today. So we should see a lot of acceleration in that. Hopefully those funds are put to good use with good charging stations. We'll wait to see on that. We did have a report from Reuters today that I saw getting a little bit of attention about US adding EVs to biofuel laws, and basically just pointing out this headline because we've actually talked about this quite a few times, 2 or 3 times now. You may remember that we went into really painstaking detail on RINs and those credits and how, those are not earnable right now for EVs, but a lot of effort being put into potentially making that change. So I didn't see anything new in this Reuters article, but it sounds like they're still kind of working on that. Hopefully we do see that happen. That would be another big boost for Tesla. And then lastly today, we do have an update on the Ford F-150 Lightning pricing. Previously that originally started out at $40,000. That moved up a bit over the last few months, now moving up again. Looks like the base vehicle now starting at about $56,000. So another roughly 8% or so increase on that starting price for the Ford F-150 Lightning. All right, that is it. Losing my voice here. It's past midnight, so I'm going to wrap it up. But as always, thank you for listening. Make sure you're subscribed and signed up for notifications. You can also find me on Twitter at Tesla Podcast. We'll see you tomorrow for the Friday, December 16th episode. Like I said, we just crossed midnight, so I got confused on my dates. But the Friday, September 16th episode of Tesla Daily. Thank you.